Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you with another Wednesday episode sponsored by Greyfox Games. Woo.
Woo.
I didn't do it that time, Zach.
No, I was waiting.
I know, I could see
I
Jeff
was
staring
into your eyes, waiting for my soul to escape when you said sponsor twice.
I didn't know it bothered you too, Jeff. That just doubles the fun for me. You know that, right?
I don't complain about those things as loudly as sometimes others do. And then,
but it still eats away at him in the inside.
Exactly. I just stay quiet to all of my agonizing
until
pain.
he just violently lashes out.
It explains a lot about your personality.
It's all my violent lashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was for other reasons, but now it makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and get it out of the way right now, early in the episode. Before we move on to board game conversations, the Broncos officially eliminated from playoff contention.
They were so close.
I mean, they were already practically eliminated, but now it is factual. There is no scenario that can get the Broncos into the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe
it's probably for the best.
Maybe if on the way to a playoff game, the Patriots and the Chiefs planes crash into each other and they decide to just eliminate those teams.
I mean, this
from
just
the
sounds
league.
like your dream journal, Adrian.
Also,
yes. Probably a lot of people's dream journals at this point.
I know a lot of people who'd be very happy if the Chiefs and the Patriots crashed into each other and all died. I'm not one of them. I do not hate the actual people involved in the teams. I more hate the concepts of the teams.
Yes.
If they just hey, our charter, they spelt Patriots with two A's, so the entire thing is dissolved. That's what you would hope for, right?
Yes. Yes. And then the league's oh, well, we don't have anything in our books for this. I guess we'll just have to go to a 30-team league because the Chiefs and the Patriots aren't teams anymore.
Yeah.
And then we're a 30-league team, and their players get sent everywhere else. And Tom Brady becomes yet another aging quarterback to come to the Broncos and win the Super Bowl. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I would embrace Brady so hard if he came to play for the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone would.
I would become immediate Brady homer number one.
But then everyone else would hate you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
or the rest of his team would suck, and that's what really makes him great.
Yeah.
Is all of the other talent that is also on his team.
I mean, my personal belief is that it's largely Bill Belichick and the organization of the Patriots that is one of the best front offices in the entire NFL.
Scamming.
Also, maybe.
Also, maybe scamming.
I do think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time in the NFL.
I mean, that's almost factually has to be correct. Statistically correct.
Statistically correct, for sure. But, statistics don't always tell the whole story.
He was cheating the whole time.
Well, and also the league has changed dramatically since Ditka was a coach. So it's hard to say.
1985.
Yeah.
Last time the Bears won the Super Bowl.
Mike Jones would like us to know that it would be better to lose without Brady's butt chin than to accept him and win.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, enough football. Broncos are eliminated. They got 2 more games, though. And they're against bad teams. So maybe we'll end the season on a high note.
Or just lose them for better draft picks.
I'm fine with that as well.
Tank the games.
Tank it.
I feel like if you wanted to do that, you should have not had those last couple of games.
They should have been tanking a long time ago, yes. I was ready to...
They could have been the Bengals. They could have been the Bengals. 1-13.
No, they couldn't have been.
It would have been hard.
Yeah. Because at one point, didn't they have to play the Bengals?
No.
Okay.
We didn't play the Bengals. No. The Bungles. Yeah. So there's my little non-board gaming update. I continue to play Divinity Original Sin, and when I play, it tends to go in this pattern. I do a bunch of things for an hour, and then I do another bunch of things for about another hour, and then something happens where I'm like, no, and then I just turn it off, and then I start back at that first hour. I need to just start getting off after an hour. Yes,
the shit out of
it.
Like you make a bad decision, or
or I just get somewhere where it's I don't think I can actually do this at this current point in the game. It's very open world.
Yeah.
Once you really get out of that main starting area. And so it's actually, I don't think this is where I'm supposed to be at all. And now because I'm here, I don't think I can ever save that guy. He's just going to die every time because I skipped where I was supposed to go and came here, and I shouldn't do that. So
Well,
Great.
reload.
Woo.
Yeah. I also get my ass handed to me in battles a lot.
that sounds right.
I have not mastered the tactical side of the tactical battles.
Sorry, it's not strategy combat. It's tactical.
It is not. It is tactical. So, but it's fun. I like it. It's a good story, good graphics, fun game. So that's my non-board gaming stuff. What about you guys? How's your time been since like less than a week ago that we were in the studio
like 5
recording?
days ago.
Yeah.
Because we recorded on like a Tuesday.
I caught up on Watchmen.
Yes.
The
Nice.
finale's tonight.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
right now, I would assume.
It is literally right now.
Yeah. So know the sacrifices that we're making to record this
Indeed.
is real good. And I both
That reminds me that the new season of Expanse came out,
yes.
and I watched a couple episodes of that,
Oh, okay.
and that is also real good.
I need to watch that at some
They get
point.
to say fuck because it's an Amazon streaming series
Yeah.
now. And then the Secretary General of the United Nations is in the books filthy, filthy language. Like she is cursing all the time, and they just couldn't do that back when it was on Sci-Fi. And now she can say fuck all she wants. And it's like she tells one of the main character, it's like, don't put your dick in this one. You've already fucked enough. Because he always keeps fucking around with like big solar system spanning like end of the world type stuff.
Indeed.
And he sticks his dick in it again. So
Naturally.
naturally.
That's what you do when you're, space PI or whatever he is.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of just fell into like, I have my own ship and a crew, and it's really advanced because I got it from Mars. And yeah, you played the board game.
Yes. Yes.
It's
indeed.
basically that. Always helping out the person in last place to try and, the underdog
Sure.
with space protomolecule. Space cancer.
That reminds me of just filthy language sort of stuff that I was driving for a Lyft and I was right near the ballpark and someone's truck had a sticker on it and it was a tow truck and it had it was keep your dick beaters off my truck. And then it showed a hand with a
'Cause
cross
it's
through
hands,
it.
stick beaters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stick beaters.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Colbert got in trouble early in Trump's reign when he was talking about Trump and like Putin using Trump as a dick holster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That meant his
He
mouth.
He told him to shut up or something by saying, like, you need
Close
to
your
just
dick holster.
Yeah, close your dick holster.
Your Putin dick holster or something like that. Yeah. It was something, yeah.
I'm sure it was worth it.
He almost got in trouble.
Almost.
Almost got in trouble.
Almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, Watchmen, good.
Watchmen, real good. Really excited
Rick
for
and Morty
the finale.
tonight.
Didn't watch the last
I have not
one.
watched any of the new Rick and Morty.
I watched the
They're
first
okay.
3. They're pretty, they're okay.
Yeah, they're more Rick and Morty.
Okay.
That's 100% what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the just, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
More
Like,
memes.
yeah.
Just more memes is what it is.
That meme has been getting some mileage.
Yes, it has. There was one I saw that I liked. It was just like you getting up off the couch and then your dog is, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yes. Me does literally anything. My dog, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's Jester, 100%.
Yeah. Just glances vaguely in her direction.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's about it for me.
Cool. Well, then, let's get the show on the road because I want to get on the road to snowboard after we finish recording. So let's talk about what we've been playing. On Friday, we did another live stream. And by we
Yeah.
I mean Zach and Jeff did a live stream. You guys streamed Tales of the Arabian Nights 2-player.
Which would have been literally the only time we could have done that is if you weren't here. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
On Twitter, someone from Board Game Barrage was like, because I put played in quotation marks around it, and he was like, yeah, not a game, can't be played.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the thinnest veneer of game tacked on to, take a random choice and see what the story tells you happens next.
Yep, that's the game. That is what that is.
Congratulations, you're now a giant ape and have almost nothing you can do.
So-
Unfortunately, we didn't have any of that.
Yeah, so let's get into the meat.
Yeah,
of
so what
the-
happened? What happened in your...
Not a lot. Like I got the call to adventure, and my quest was, go out and experience a place of power. There's like 8 of them on the board,
Yep.
and they're not easy to get to.
Nope.
You basically just have to have something that says, hey, you can go to a place of power if you want.
Yeah,
I mean, you get close to it, and I think you get more likely to get it.
How would the game know?
yeah.
I thought they were specific spots on the board.
There
They
is,
are,
but
but
you
how-
can't go to them.
you
You can
can't-
go somewhere adjacent to them
Yeah.
that only adds like 2 to your roll or whatever. So
Yeah,
who
it's all
knows?
encounter based. Like you just draw a card off a deck, and that tells you what you're encountering.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I thought there was some.
no.
So I
vague
ended
mechanism.
up finding a princess. I just decided to plop myself next to a place of power, which then I encountered a princess, and then I rolled on the destiny die the like +1, and then I had the skill that she was like trapped in a prison,
And you just wanted to abduct her.
and I was going to abduct her, aka like free her. But in this emphasis was no, I just I have also imprisoned her and I was ransoming her off.
Yeah, but I'm going to imprison her now. These guys are doing a bad job doing
Yeah.
it.
But let me show you how ransom really works.
Yeah, but apparently no one wanted her, and so I just talked to her and then learned a whole bunch of knowledge from her and stories. And one of the stories was like, oh, there's this place of power, and it was like encounter a place of power, and I was just happened to be right next to one, so it was like the Valley of Diamonds, and the way they collected the diamonds from this valley, they would throw animal corpses into the valley because the valley was swarming with snakes, and then giant birds, rocks would swoop down, pick up the dead animals, and then bring them back up the valley because the corpse would have landed in the diamonds. They would then extract the diamonds from the corpse.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the option of concealing myself in one of these animal corpses and
To
then
be thrown down into the valley.
exactly, and then picked back up and brought back up with all, and then I would take the diamonds before they had a chance, or find a secret path to the valley and just get whatever I could. But it was, of course, swarming with snakes. But I had weapon use, and I decided to just start swinging. I killed all of the snakes in the valley.
You did.
All of them, ending with a massive snake, and which I had weapon use, so I just cut its head off, and then I got like a
Just
ton-
like, I can collect diamonds at my leisure now.
yep,
'cause-
and then I became princely
Yep.
from that, the second to most rich, which also like makes you slower by land.
Yeah.
Yes.
'cause you're just carrying all that wealth, and you're like, oh, this is just
Yeah.
taking forever.
Well, yeah, because I think that's what you're supposed to be so rich that you travel with like a huge entourage
Exactly, yep.
and like you're in a litter that's being carried by, people with jobs involuntarily.
Prisoners with jobs.
That's the phrase.
That's
Yeah.
the phrase. And then my second quest was like seeking treasure. I already had treasures. Like I had a treasure. It was like an ebony horse that let me go to anywhere in the world. But then I had to encounter a like pursuing sage because I had stolen it from him.
And so anytime you used it, the sage would just show up.
And I got it in a heist, by the way, because I could have stolen it by myself, or I could have created a crew. And I was like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." And I made it, but then the guy on my crew was untrustworthy, and so I knew that, and so I tricked him. It was a twist.
Yeah, it's like, how does this work by any chance? Oh, he just does
Oh, you
this.
just do the knob like this and it goes up, and you do the knob like this, it goes down, and it just goes forward. And I was like, okay, and just left it behind. And then I just had to get another treasure, which I just lucked upon. And how did I get that last treasure? It was the drums.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I do remember that you just got a house too.
Yeah,
It was a burning house.
did I have the burned down house? I thought you
we
had
both had burned down houses.
houses burned down all the time in this game.
No, we'll go get to what happened with my burnout. No, but yours was like you went to go and save someone, and then you came out because no one else is in there, and people are like, "Hey, you you started the fire," and then you're like, "No,
No,
in
it didn't.
fact, this is my house."
My house. And they're like, "Oh, sorry." And then it was like plus wealth or get a treasure or something.
Nobody claimed the house, so
Yeah.
he just got the
was just
insurance
my house.
payout on the house.
No, that was mine.
Yeah, this is fine.
Money, please. And then I got back to Baghdad at the same time Zach did.
Yeah.
But in the early game, Zach was blowing me out of the water in Destiny and story.
Yeah. Basically, my quest was I got taken away in the middle of the night in Baghdad, and I got brought to the edge of the earth.
It was
And
by a genie, right?
By a genie, by a djinn, and I was lost. Eventually found my way, had some adventures in a desert, and then when I got home, my house was on fire. And I was like, well, that's great. I'm just going to go drink. And I went to go drink, and then I bumped into the guy.
That burned down the house.
I bumped into someone, and he just like dropped like matches and lamp oil and shit like that. And I was like, hey, you're the guy. And then everyone was like, hey, it's the guy that started the fire. And then they praised me, and I became respected.
But then the guy wanted to come after you because you caught him.
Because he was a ne'er-do-well.
He had a pursuing ne'er-do-well the whole game.
Yep. But once I got home and succeeded in my first quest, I got that itch for adventure because I was having such a good time. Like, because I, experienced shit that I got a call of the wild. So I had to go literally all around the world.
I got to put the quests down. I put them in like the southern tip of Africa, Ireland, and like the farthest east in Asia on the north side that you could go, which I think is Central Asia.
Yes.
It just sort of shows water, but clearly like China still happens. So
Yeah. They just didn't get that far yet.
Yeah.
So, but I went, going around, and then I eventually caught up, or the ne'er-do-well ended up catching up to me. And then I was just like, hey, it's fine, right? We cool, bro? And he's just
it
like,
should be cool by now.
he's like, all right, we're cool. And then he just went away.
But your next encounter.
My next encounter, I found him. I found him again.
Encountered the ne'er-do-well card.
Yeah, the ne'er-do-well card. And so we were saying it's the same guy, and he was a thief stealing from someone. So I was like, hey, you stop it.
No, you hid in a forest.
Oh, that's right. I hid in a forest.
You used your wilderness lore.
Yeah, I was Ramboing it up.
Yes.
And then I
As you do.
yeah, and then I
Murdered him.
And then I was like, oh, I guess I'll just take his sword, and I grab it, and lightning shoots out of it, and it's a thunderbolt sword. And I'm like, okay, well, now I have this. And then I was like, okay, well, I think this is good adventure now that I have this weapon. Nobody will ever fuck with me or steal me away again. And so then I went home.
And I had gotten my treasure.
Yeah.
My last quest was get a treasure, go back, turn the treasure in, get a bunch of points for story and destiny, and that's where we called it.
Yeah.
Right
on. And what was sort of funny is that I want to say 30 minutes into the stream, I had enough to just call the game.
Oh yeah, Zach had like all of his destiny, all of his story, and was like done. And I just was wandering around.
Yeah, and I was like, we can do another quest.
Yeah.
And so then it ended about an hour and 40 minutes in. And I was like, okay. I finished my quest same time he finished his, and we both made it to Baghdad on the last turn.
Yes.
I was like, that's good.
Okay, cool.
I technically ended with more
Statuses.
story
Yeah.
and status.
But when he means like that, he means we were both at 20 destiny out of 20 destiny. And I was at 18 story, and he was at 19 story.
I was
you
maxed
were
out
at
on
20?
story. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And I got double respected and deterred. That was sort of the problem, is that just good shit kept happening to us. And
Yeah. Nothing really.
once you get like a master level skill, it's a lot easier to just keep having good stuff happen.
Yeah.
So
Because you can be like, which ones have the thing? I'm going to do the thing that is good.
yeah.
I became pious throughout it. I had a ton of I had like 9 skills and 3 master skills.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like we were all doing pretty well that whole game. Yeah. Arabian Nights was fun.
Yeah.
A fun story thingy.
Cool. The reason you guys played that, did that stream by your lonesomes, was because Friday was literally the first day in like a month and a half that the group I DM for was able to meet. And we were all very desperate to play. They had leveled up the last time they'd played. So they were all level 2 now. And it was to the point where like I was messaging them in the week leading up to it, and they were all like, oh yeah, we leveled up. I don't even remember how to play a level 1 character anymore, because they're all like so brand new. They still haven't figured half their stuff out. So I walked them through leveling up and everything in the weeks leading up to it. I made another map that I printed out at work and then put on poster board and then cut up into the different rooms so that as they explored rooms, I could put out the pieces. So it was give it much more of a exploring the map kind of a feel, which they really appreciate. How's your beer, Jeff?
It's fine. I'm
Okay,
just reading it.
you were intently looking at it.
I was trying to figure out where it's
concerned.
from. It's from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Gotcha. But they continue to just not do any of the things I expect them to do. So they managed to find like the secret side entrance, which takes them directly into this cavern where there's a creature called a Nothic that's like a
Teletubby?
telepathic creature.
Oh, okay.
And,
I don't see the difference.
And in the lore, they're like a wizard who sought like crazy advanced power and then went batshit crazy and like mutated into this creepy beast.
Okay.
But they feed on flesh. They're very carnivorous, and they're telepaths, so they can read minds. And so like all the things I'd read, people were like, really play this encounter up, like it could be really fun, and it was. Like they were tripping out because I was using like secrets from their backstory that even the other ones of them didn't know, that it was like, oh yeah, I know this about you. And it was talking in all of their heads individually, not to everybody. So it was like, yeah, none of you hear what's being said to this person, and so on and so forth. But then they just managed to like walk through the cavern and kept not seeing it, and like just ignored it. They didn't look for it or anything. They were just like, all right, creepy voice, you're just going to be a creepy voice in our head. We're not going to look into this at all.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm just going to keep on keeping on here. And
Yeah.
It sounded like they kept being alive, which is, I believe, is the important thing.
Indeed, they did keep being alive. And so they left the big cavern, which is like roughly in the center of the map, if you have the whole map all out. And then they just kind of arbitrarily went all the way back to where the original beginning would have been, instead of like, oh, we started in the middle and we're almost to the end. They like backtraced all the way to the beginning. And then they had a couple encounters and stuff that went relatively okay. And then they were like, all right, it's late, so we'll call it here. And they are like, we called it for the night with them in the entrance room for the overall dungeon.
Being like, oh, we're done with this place.
No,
Okay.
no. They are going to go deeper, thankfully. But like at one point they heard like goblins like picking on another goblin, and they're like, we're not really worried about goblins. They just went the other way.
You should be worried about goblins.
Like they're such the...
goblins are problematic.
They are very problematic.
Goblins are canceled.
They very much canceled.
Boy,
Are they canceled?
that first episode of Goblin Slayer.
Oh,
man.
no, thank you.
Haunting.
Yep.
Yeah. They the rogue of the group had a disguise, and so like
Was
one
it a
time
goblin disguise?
it was not. It was a red brand disguise who was like the gang of ruffians that are inhabiting this dungeon.
The Red Defias crew.
What? I don't. No.
Okay, good.
But so one of the rooms they ran into a couple of them, and they were like playing off, trying to play it off like, oh, we're new recruits. We're new recruits. So I kind of let him roll with it, and the guy was like, all right, well, if you're new recruits, like we got to take you to the boss. And he's like, follow me.
Is it like a ship in the middle of a cave?
No.
Okay, good.
No. And he started leading. He led them. They met them in like this one little bunk room, and then he was leading them, and he was going to lead them like several rooms over. And like it was pretty clear from the way he was going and where they'd explored. Like they knew he was going to lead them through several completely empty rooms that they just cleared. And instead of waiting for him to be like in the middle of an empty room somewhere far away, the rogue tried to backstab him right outside the door of the room where his friends were.
Great.
And then failed. And so he was like, they're attacking me. And his friends all came running out. And they had a battle there at the end. But yeah, so the classes, the group right now, so there's the
Paladin.
There's not a paladin in this one because I'm not playing.
Tiefling.
There are two tieflings.
Shocking.
There's a tiefling wizard. There is a tiefling druid. There is a gnome druid, and then there is an elf rogue.
4 paladins.
No, not 4 paladins.
That would be
yeah.
a
Everybody with checkered past.
That would be a terrible D&D campaign.
4 paladins?
Just all paladins.
4 paladins would wreck house.
It would be boring.
It would be very boring.
I mean, it's certainly less interesting than like the people who do like all bard campaigns.
I wouldn't make it.
No. I hate bards so much. We'll see. Allison's going to play a bard in our new one. Maybe she can redeem bards. If anybody can, it'll be Allison in the new Mahai Dungeon Delvers campaign. Yeah. Which I got my mini for, and it's sweet.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Other than that, at game night, I played a 5-player game of Bus. So I'd previously played 3 players. I actually liked 5 a lot more. There was a little bit of a discussion in the Slack channel about like what's better about each of them.
Like 5 gets a little bit more chaotic, right?
Yeah. And I don't know, like I could see myself eventually shifting to like 3 more once I understand the game better. But
Well, you still got 4. Maybe 4 is the sweet spot for you.
And I think 4 might end up being the sweet spot. But it was a lot of fun. It's a actually fairly easy game to teach. We taught it to 3 new players who aren't heavy gamers at all at game night, and they all really enjoyed it. And
It's your entry-level Splotter.
yeah, entry-level Splatter right there. And it was a lot of fun. We were making jokes about RTD and how the bus lines just don't make any goddamn sense. And like, oh, you want to get to this place? Okay, well, you're going to have to take a 3-hour bus ride through this other neighborhood you don't care about just to get to that bar. So
It sounds like now boarding. Oh, you want to go from
Yes.
O'Hare to New York? Well, you're going to go
To Tampa
to
first.
Tampa and not Santa Barbara, just
Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah,
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, fun times gaming. I did also play another game of Watergate, which I am now 3-0, 2-0 as Nixon. So I'm really good at not being a crook or being a crook and getting away with it. Maybe.
There you go. That sounds better
Yeah.
or worse. I don't know which one.
Yeah. But I like Watergate. It's real fun and it plays real quick.
Like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to definitely have to get a copy.
It's
So
not that expensive.
no, not at all.
Who produces it?
Capstone.
I'm probably gonna hate it.
Did you hate Irish Gauge?
Yes.
Okay.
You hated Irish
Yeah.
Gauge?
It's a train game.
I'm also not going to do the Nixon voice, despite what chat wants me to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, what did...
You don't have the jowls for it.
I'm not nearly jolly enough to get the real good.
No. No.
I got him to do it.
That's not the voice, though. That's just a sound.
It's
Close
like
enough.
it was like a dog playing with a toy.
Most of my knowledge of what Nixon sounds like is horribly incorrect because it's based 100% on Futurama.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely Futurama.
Oh, so Jeff, what did you play?
The only thing of note that I played was the Taverns of Tiefenthal.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Or as I like to call it from now on, the Star Wars version, the Taverns of TIE Fighter.
Yeah.
Taverns of Tiefenthal is a lot of fun. It was super cool. It's got a little bit of that deck building in there where you have your tavern people. When you buy, it goes on the top of your deck, so you kind of always know what you're about to put out. It has a wide-ranging amount of upgrades and strategy, because you might want to brew more beer to get more better patrons into your tavern, or you might want to get, and doing that, you get more money, which lets you buy better upgrades, like more tables, so you can seat more people, so you can die draft a wider range. The die drafting was a lot of fun. I went with a lot of barmaids, so I was able to get like 2 extra die every turn. The noble strategy didn't really come until the very end.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah,
with it.
because every time you upgrade, you just get a noble that gets you it's just 10 points at the end of the game. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And it was close too.
It was a very close game. I think our point range was 113, 115, 117, and 122.
Yeah.
With me winning at 122.
Yeah, this is one of fucking Jeff won.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Jeff's been doing that a lot
Well,
lately.
and he was able to get 4 nobles on the last turn.
Yes.
And you realized...
Because I brewed 18, because
Yeah.
you can always just do like 18 for 3, 14 for 2, and
9 for 1.
9 for 1. And 2 people were off by 1
Yep.
and only had 13, so they couldn't get 2.
All 3 of us were.
Was it all 3
Yes.
of you? And
Yeah.
then I was like, 18, please.
Yeah.
And then I was able to get 6 money, which upgraded my cash register or something, which got me another noble.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's a lot of stuff. Like I was able to upgrade my brewer guy that I was just able to just spend 3 of the cards to get a free upgrade of that.
Yeah.
Too. And
I did that
Yep.
with the tables, because then I turned the top table area into 4 tables.
we still haven't played the quote unquote full game of that yet. There's just 2 modules. One is just a variable setup in the beginning.
With like your upgrades, or
Yeah, so you start off with a barmaid, a brewer, and then a dishwasher, or no, not dishwasher.
the +1 die guy.
Yeah, that's a dishwasher. No, a table. Sorry.
Oh,
That's-
a table.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can have variable setup where there are like 3 of 7 cards dealt, and it could be that, or it could be, hey, just flip your table over and just start with it upgraded, or you get 2 brewers, or you get a dishwasher, you get an upgraded stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then everybody at the table chooses one of those 3. So it's not like you got dealt the quote unquote better one. We all
Yeah.
can choose the same one. It's just we start differently. And then
Yes.
there's a guest book that when you get new patrons, you get these signatures that fill up this little 4x4 grid. And as you get certain ones, you get bonuses and stuff like that. So and it's based on how much beer you spent to get them. So you may be more enticed to not just always buy the most expensive one because you're like, oh, I want this one that's 4 versus this 5 because it'll get me this extra bonus. So
Yeah, there's a lot of variability in there because there's all the characters that you can spend your schnapps on that are like your entertainers.
yeah.
That give you powers and things like that. You can spend 2 schnapps and turn it into like 3 beer, or is that like 1 to 3 or something?
No,
like
it's
that?
2. It's 2 for 3 beer, or one schnapps for 2 money if you choose that side.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's how I got the 18 because I did the 2 to 3, which got me those ton of extra points at the end. I mean, I got a third of my points or more in the last round in that game.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and the way the dice drafting works is a lot of fun because you're always kind of waiting to see like because you do it in turn order, it makes it go a little longer, but you want to know what they're taking to see what you want to take. Because if you can take one thing that is about to just get past you, you can take a different thing. Like if I have a 5 here and can take a 5, but I have a 3 and I need a 3 and I need the 5, I can take the 5 now. And if I'm getting past a 3 next round, then I can just take the 5 now, and then I'm guaranteed the 3.
Right.
Or if it's like, oh, I have a 2 and a 4, and neither one of them mean that much to me, but you desperately need a 4, it's like, well, I'm just going to take this 4 then.
Yeah. There's a little bit of spite drafting, but it's not too. You want the stuff you need
Exactly,
versus the screwing someone over.
Yeah.
Which is how I prefer it. Like I like a little bit of room for like an occasional.
It really
hard
only
spite,
happens in
but-
the 3rd or 4th because you only draft 4, and so it's probably the 3rd or 4th that you would even care about that.
Yeah.
But you always want 1s and 6s because that's how you make beer.
Yep. And so that's where you try and make your deck to have as wide amount as possible so you won't get fucked over like that, right? So,
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm looking forward to playing more of that.
There you go.
I'm glad it came out this year because we will soon have to make a list of our favorite games of 2019.
Oh. Sounds like I need to play it before we make those lists.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right on. Zach, what about you? What have you played?
Is anything else for you, Jeff? Or is that it?
No, that's it.
Okay. I finished up my Mechs versus Minions campaign. I played our last. So we on Wednesday we had 2 envelopes left to open, and so we're like, all right, we opened up the second to last one, and it was like this big boss fight, and we did it. And so the next one, we're like, well, what's the next one gonna be? And it's just like, congrats, you finished the campaign.
Oh.
Hooray!
If here's hard mode if you want to play it, and we're like, oh, okay. No, but it was a fun campaign. I'm glad we finished it. It was hard near the end because there's just a lot of shit going on, but did well. I would definitely play it again at some point, but it is. Hey, all I can say is I have decreased for once the amount of campaign games I'm currently in.
Hooray!
Wow.
I want to say it went from like 7 to 6, but
Betrayal,
Mhm.
Pandemic.
Yep. Time Stories, Imperial Assault, Gloomhaven,
Kingdom Death.
Kingdom Death. Well,
Kingdom Death doesn't really have an end time.
Yeah.
Kingdom Death is eternal.
Yeah. It only dies
It's
when we
still
do.
definitely a campaign game.
I mean, it is, but as soon as we finish, we're like, oh, another one. Dragonholt.
Dragonholt.
Technically, the World War I game.
Undaunted?
No, the other one.
Oh, World War
Armistice
I.
Edition?
Yes, of.
The Grizzled Armistice
Grizzled.
Edition.
Technically, we're in a campaign on
That
that.
is technically a campaign
Yeah.
with chapters.
Yes.
I mean, technically.
Seafall is still technically ongoing.
No, that one has ended.
We've
Is Risk Legacy also officially dead?
Who even has that?
Adrian, I thought.
Do I?
No.
so.
The one that I was in, Tyler had.
I
So
think that's the one that
But we played one round of another one.
Did we?
Yeah. I thought you had it.
Maybe
don't
I
know,
do.
Maybe. All right, well, let's just add it on there just in case.
Sure.
There's number 8.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I finally got a chance to do that.
And now Ant has no one to play with because no one wants to play it again.
I mean, I'm sure you can get people to play with. I wouldn't be surprised if
Not us, but I'm sure there's
No,
people.
I'm not.
I mean,
not saying that.
I only played for the review, so I never finished the campaign.
Yeah,
either.
exactly. And also King's Dilemma at some point. I know I'm going to start playing.
There's
that,
a lot
so.
on deck.
Yes.
I mean, there's at least one on this table.
This one,
The Escape Tales Awakening.
that one though is going to be like a couple of, like it's like
Yeah.
it's technically 3 to 6 hours total, right?
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah,
Just got to get through time stories first.
We're close.
Sooner or later.
We're
Yep.
close.
Apparently, the next one's the best one. Australia Drive? Is that the next one?
Okay, yes, it is.
Australia Drive.
Australia
Estrella.
Estrella Drive. It sounded like you said Australia Drive for a
Oh,
second, and I
thought
was
it
like,
was Australia
it's
Drive.
Estella Drive. I
Estella
think.
Drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
But yeah, that's basically what I've been playing, or at least that's what I'm going to say I've been playing because I can't think of it. Oh, got it. Monikers. At yesterday there was a potluck dinner that you missed out
There's
on.
something else that you and I played that we'll talk about.
Yes.
But yes, I had to miss out on the potluck.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Megan and I made prior plans to go to her work party,
Yeah.
which was okay. It was one of those definitely where it's like, hi, I'm the boyfriend that you all have heard about, and now you have seen me, and now you can talk about nurse things, and I'm just going to sit here and have a beer.
Yep. But Monikers. So
Monikers.
at once pretty much all the non-game people left the potluck dinner.
Yes.
We
We ran them out.
ran them out, and there were about 9 of us left. And we're like, Bullseye was like, hey, we could play Monikers. We haven't, because I know I brought a decent amount of like just smaller games, but they weren't. I didn't know how many people were actually going to be there,
Right.
and like 9 was too many for them. But
Yeah.
Monikers is basically a gamier version of charades, right?
Correct.
So we are split into 2 teams, and you get basically everybody looks through these 10 cards, chooses 5 of them, puts them in a deck, and then that's your deck that you're playing with. And each one, it has like a name on it. So it could be like Beethoven, the dog. And then it has a description of what's below it. And it's in 3 rounds, 3 total rounds. You have each on your turn, you have a minute to just basically try and get your team to guess as many of the cards that you're looking at. And in the first round, you are using whatever you want. You can describe it however you like, so be like, oh, it's not the composer, but it's a Saint Bernard, shit like that, to get people to guess it.
Beethoven the dog.
Exactly. And then when it goes around again, so you go through we had 45 different cards, right? Because it was
5 times 9.
Yeah. On the second round, you're going through the same 45 cards again, but you can only use one clue, one word for your clue. So for that one, you could be like Bernard or something like that, or you could just some people are like composer or whatever.
Dog.
And people. You couldn't use it.
Oh, I guess it's Beethoven the dog.
Yeah, canine. You could say that, and then you'd get it to guess again, and then after in the third round, you can't say anything at all, but then you are just motioning things, charading it up. But for me, the interesting thing about it is that everybody knows the cards, so you can do
After the first round, you know what every card is.
So like if you're just trying to charades Ghostface Killer, and try and get you to guess that would probably be a lot harder. But if you had seen that on, I could just like motion at my face and then like stab somebody, and you'd be like, "Oh, ghost face, kill it!" Like,
Yeah.
Point at your butt for dead ass.
Yeah. Or just draw an S for that thing everyone drew in school.
The thing everyone drew in high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
It was a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be. So
I've played Monikers, but not Monikers. Like it wasn't an actual card game, but like just played it at a party where they just hand out scraps of paper and you just wrote a word on it, and then everybody threw their word in. So it was like a smaller pool of words, but you did the same thing. You did like the 3 rounds and different each time, but you knew what the words are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is fun.
Yes,
I do like it.
Yeah.
The other game that I just remember that you and I did play that we didn't talk about, Wavelength. Paul got his copy of Wavelength and brought it to game night, and so we played a little bit at the start. And Wavelength is really funny. Like I liked the idea of it, but when I first heard about it, but playing it, it's almost like a different kind of fun that I was expecting, and in some ways, it's even more fun because less of the fun is like trying to figure out where on the scale. It's just finding ways to mock the ridiculousness of the scale and put other things on that same scale.
Yeah.
So like, on a scale of like good to bad, he'd be like, a scale of good habit to bad habit. And
I said murder.
And you said murder. And so then we were like, well, like murder's a pretty bad habit, but like there's a lot of worse things. Like serial murder. Like, you know, that's a worse habit. And then somebody was like, genocide. And I was like, wait, can you have a habit of genocide? Can you just do that occasionally? Just a little genocide here, a little genocide there. Like, so that was one of the funnest things for me, was just debating about like the other things that could be between, because it seemed like a lot of them tended to be towards the ends. I think we just kind of random chance of where the things ended up. They tended to be towards the extreme. So it was always like, well, how extreme is this? Like, you know,
yeah. Well, I remember one of the ones I had was where like it's easier to do the ends versus the actual center. So I had one that was slightly more than halfway. So say like 55%, 60%. And it was highbrow and lowbrow. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? And I was just trying to think of it. And it was just like, I could do like the Met Gala. I was like, oh, that's too fancy. And then I was just like, we could do like a symphony, and then I was like the New York Symphony. I was like, oh, that seems too much. And I was like, the Colorado Symphony, because then you're like, okay, it's good, but he said Colorado, so we're just gonna dial it back a bit.
It's just not quite there.
Yeah.
What was the one that we got perfectly on the last one? Oh, it was like from hairy to not hairy.
Oh yeah,
very hairy to not hairy, and Zach said, "Dad." And you're just thinking like, it's hairy, but it's not like Chewbacca. It's not woolly mammoth.
It's not a dog.
Yeah. So we just, and it was boom, dead on, 4 points.
Yeah.
I was looking through, like they've got advanced ones down there, and some of the advanced ones are fantastic. I wish I could remember some of the ones that had me laughing, because like just going through and looking at the different scales was hilarious to me, and trying to imagine putting something on that scale.
Yeah.
Like 3/4 of the way along that scale. Would be interesting. So I want to play it some more. I liked it. Boyd is trying to say, on a scale of Adrian to Zach, how cool is Jeff? Which isn't how you play the game.
No.
It would be like
on a scale
of Adrian to Zach, it's a Jeff.
Yes.
And then you have to figure out, is Jeff, where is
But
Jeff?
it's always like the opposite, though.
It is. Well, it works.
It would be
it
like
works.
from Adrian to not Adrian. How cool is Jeff?
Exactly, not Adrian Zach.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I like it. It's a fun game. So that's what we've been playing. So let's move on over to.
I played some Star Realms, and I won a 2 out of 3. Suck it.
As per usual.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lost the first one, won the second 2.
There you go.
As is Star Realms tradition.
There you go. So now that is officially what we've been playing.
Yes.
Which lets us move on over to Bloody Minute Playoff Edition.
Yes. What's before quarterfinals? Semis after quarter.
16, whatever.
Yeah, it varies from sport to sport what it's called.
Well, the first round of finals are over, and now we're in the quarterfinals. So everyone's the quarterfinals are set. Ant's Corn is going to be playing Amazon. Paul's Wood Elves are going to be playing Khemri, the ones that absolutely smashed me because he was rolling like fucking God. Who's in that? Nurgle is going to be playing. Who's Nurgle going to be playing? I should have had this pulled up.
Well, Ant's in chat. I'm sure he'll tell us in a second too, if you take too long to look it up.
I'm going to be playing the dwarf team that has a death roller, which is very uncommon for dwarves. It's like a dwarven big guy.
Okay.
But it's a secret weapon, so it gets banned anytime there's a kickoff.
Nurgle Norse is what it
Nurgle and Norse, living on a Freyr.
That's great.
Yes. Nurgle and Norse. So they're all going to be good games. Looking forward to see how I go against the dwarves. It's really going to be whoever starts taking guys off the pitch first, because once that ball starts rolling, it's going to keep rolling, because both of us are pretty. I mean, I've got the strength advantage and the speed advantage, but we're both armor 9. He's got probably as much guard as I do. He's got some mighty blow in there with his dauntless troll slayers and stuff like that.
Well, it sounds like if it's all based about things rolling, he has a death roller, so that seems like he's already at an advantage.
But if I get the ball and I just go boom boom score, if he doesn't have a bribe, boom, that's gone for the rest of the game, and that's a 160K player, which is a lot. Because big guys are like 110 to 130K.
Right.
I think it's like the most expensive big guy, just straight stats. But I mean,
So what does he look like? Is he just a giant dwarf? Like
no.
Okay.
It's like he's like riding in a machine.
Oh, okay.
Like-
so it's like a mech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, but
Yeah, I can see how that's a secret weapon.
like a tank.
You gotcha.
Yes.
But I love how they're just like, well, he has a tank, but they've already kicked off, so we'll wait for one of them to score, then we'll try and kick them out.
Then we're gonna do something about it. I can bring up a picture here of what a dwarven death roller looks like. It looks like it looks like a giant lawnmower.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But Ant is saying the Bloodthirster is the most expensive.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Corn always has just the most crazy expensive shit.
Fucking corn.
Yeah. Ant's corn team's gonna fucking roll over those Amazons. They're like armor 7. They all have dodge, but Ant has frenzy, so he's just gonna be pounding them into the ground. So unless his Bloodthirster rolls wild animal like 4 turns in a row, no matter how large your dice cup gets. He was using a plastic pitcher at one point because it just kept rolling ones. So we'll see how the dwarves go. I don't think I've played dwarves in 2 seasons, so it's been a while.
All right. Well, best of luck.
Yeah.
That wraps up the Bloody Minute, which moves us on to a very brief-ish, maybe, we'll see, Kingdom Death Hour.
An unspectacular couple rounds today. So everyone this morning / afternoon went to a whiskey release party at the Block Distilling.
And by everyone, he means just Paul.
Yeah, so that's why we had to wait till 1 o'clock to play today.
Yeah.
We started out hunting down ourselves a Screaming Antelope level 2 because we were like, we got 3 guys that are 1 weapon mastery or weapon skill, weapon proficiency away from mastery, which when they hit mastery gives proficiency to literally everyone in the settlement, which is very useful. We thought that would be real easy. Zach almost died.
In fact, I technically died until we realized.
It was like, wait, you can just dash and then you don't get run over and killed.
Well, so I'm Fist and Tooth, which is I just fight and bite people, right?
Yes.
And at the beginning of the monster's turn and the beginning at my turn, I can just get up because I'm specialized in that. And that was one of the reasons we were wanting Fist and Tooth mastery is because then everybody can get that, which is an amazing skill.
Being able to stand up every phase.
The axe, the guitar, all of them, those are all like, oh, when you're attacking with this, then you get a bonus. The Fist and Tooth just helps you regardless.
Global.
And so I was about to take a shitload of damage, and then we realized, oh, I would have actually been able to get up that turn and then run away because when you're knocked down and the antelope does lone rampage or whatever it was called, that's the thing where he just ran around.
he just has a huge like area 4 squares away from him.
He just steps on everything and would have done.
And if you're knocked down, you take an even more amount of
2 damage to every hit location.
Yeah. So 10 damage overall. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That would have killed Zach.
It would have. But it didn't because we remembered.
We remembered our skills.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we played, so we had to remember everything that everyone had.
Yeah.
Then we proceeded to absolutely destroy said Screaming Antelope.
Well, you guys did. I just ran away from it because I was like, I don't have much armor left and I don't want to die now.
Right.
So we got back after that one. We made a fuckload of gear for everyone. We spent a ton of resources and geared ourselves up pretty good. Then the next year we got the Butcher level 2. There was no Butcher level 1 in this campaign. He's like the classic like first nemesis that you fight. He comes and tries to cut all your faces off and then wears them.
Like not on him, like he just like on his shoulder.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. He went after me like fucking crazy. I had a ton of armor and he ended up drawing. So he draws 3 attack cards during his turn. Normally
instead of just 1.
Instead of 1. So he does 3 actions, which is bonkers.
Okay.
And he went after me with all 3, not counting the 2 moods he got in between, which let him do other stuff in between those. So I got hit with 4 attacks.
Jesus.
Almost killed me.
Yeah.
And then I ran away and let them take care of the Butcher after that.
Which we did.
Yes. After that, he wasn't all that tough because we are pretty OP. The next Lantern Year, we got a settlement event we haven't had ever or in an extremely long time. It's called Nickname. There's 3 tables, and you roll a d10, and then everyone gets a nickname based off the tables. Like mine, I got Wise Sneak of the Lion, but if you roll 1s or 10s, you could have gotten positive or negative stat attributes.
Mm-hmm.
No one did, so everyone just kind of got boring names.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Cool.
And then we finished out with a bad idea.
As per usual.
When our last campaign, Lantern Year wrap up, we did the Dung Beetle level 1, and we're like, holy fuck, this thing is totally overpowered. I can't understand how anyone would want to ever fight the level 1 that isn't regularly fighting like level 3 stuff. So we decided to do a level 2 Dung Beetle Knight because he makes really good stuff.
Yeah. and we were like 2 people were bringing good people, 1 person was bringing an okay person, and I was bringing a newer person because my character was at age 15, so basically after he fought anything else he would retire. But he had also become a People of the Stars, which is the goal of this game, like of this campaign, is to be constellations, which is you do certain things and then you get a bonus off of it. So like I made a copy of myself. Sculptor. So I made like 2 of them. That was the Fist and Tooth Master. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to bring someone else. And then we made enough leather to make a whip. And I was like, I'm going to be a whip guy. Pow.
Thursby was real excited about whips.
Yes, he was.
He always wants the whips. So we start fighting the Dung Beetle Knight, and he basically annihilated 1 person in 1 turn. He throws his like dung beetle resin ball around him, and then does 5 damage to
his poop ball.
His poop ball. He does 5 damage to 2 hit locations to each person. So each of us took 10 damage in turn 1.
Yep.
Great.
And then he proceeded to just constantly do 5 damage to 2 locations for the rest of the fight.
As you do.
He proceeded to absolutely annihilate Zach. He beat the crap out of him, literally. And then he picked him up and then threw him at his ball, which then finally finished him off.
Ruptured my femoral artery in my leg, and I bled out.
I think you had 5 severe injuries at that point.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun times.
Yeah, he was goner. But we pulled it out towards the end there. Like after that,
after you got rid of the dead weight.
Yeah, after that, I think we got rid of a card that was the one that let him do a ton of damage when he whipped that thing around.
Yeah.
That we barely finished him off. Got a ton of resources, and that's where we finished her off at the end of Lantern Year 14. We finally got drums as an innovation.
Woo.
Yep.
Which is like a level, like the starter deck of innovations.
Yeah. But it's going to be curious how the next couple ones are going to go, because everyone's good characters are getting up there in age. So
yes. So we're going to have to we'll have our nice gear, but we're not going to be able to have all of the skills and things like that.
Right on.
We're going to run into that Manhunter level 3 here pretty soon.
And get fucked.
And then he's going to have all those fun spike traps and stakes.
Not everyone can get a spike through the jaw and turn out okay.
And just be totally fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, fairly uneventful.
Right on. Well, then that wraps up the Kingdom Death Hour, and we can move on to some news and Kickstarters.
Yes. First up in news this week, those wonderful people that make Splendor are going to make a Marvel Splendor, which I thought was going to come out. Like, I thought I saw that at Gen Con.
Yeah, I also thought that this was old news, but I guess maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's going to be a Marvel-themed version. It's going to use all the Infinity Gems as...
Well, I've got 3 time gems, and I've got 4 soul gems.
There is no... Yeah, but there is no time gem, actually.
No, there is. It's just like the awards you get at the end based off your tableau.
Yes.
But to win, you need to get 16 points, and then you have to have the marker cards in your tableau along with the time stone to complete the entire Infinity Gauntlet. So you're racing to make the Infinity Gauntlet, which I don't fully understand how that's going to work. Like you said, like I'll buy this level 1 soul stone, and then later I'll buy a level 3 soul stone. Like,
It can hold more souls. It's fine.
yeah, sure.
Or it's a better stone. I don't know which way it's going with level 3.
I don't know.
Yeah. But apparently it's going to be late next year.
Yeah, late
it's-
2020.
This is planned for Q1 2020.
And then it immediately says, note, Asmodee informed us that the Q1 2020 date given earlier was incorrect, and
Yeah.
the game will be released in late 2020.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I thought I could have sworn that was at Gen Con this last year.
I could have sworn we'd talked about it before,
Yeah.
but maybe not.
That doesn't sound right. We don't talk about themes.
We're never
This is
wrong.
Also true.
Oh, that you are very wrong in that.
That might be the most wrong we've been. All right, next up on news.
Next up on news, World in Flames is officially the world's largest production board game.
World's largest board game in production.
Yes,
Subtle difference. The production of it wasn't the largest.
that's true.
They made 50 million copies of this
Yeah.
game.
No, the game, so the collector's edition came out
Largest board game commercially available.
commercially available, yes. It was released in 2018 for the first time as actual hard-mounted boards. Previously, they'd been paper maps, which is fairly common in this kind of war game.
These nightmare war games.
Yeah.
Because this one is basically all of the old world continents minus Southern Africa. Like,
Yeah.
it's all North Africa, Europe, Asia, Southeast Asia, the Pacific, Australia,
somehow.
Eastern.
So basically just
Africa.
all of World War II.
Yeah,
Well,
it's basically everywhere that World War II was fought,
yeah.
more or less. But yeah, so
Except
it's
no, because they still have the
the
Aleutian Islands are in there.
Yep. So the game is 4 850 millimeter by 574 millimeter maps, then 3 420 by 297 mini maps. Total space of the entire game on the table, 2.3279 square meters. Fucking square meters.
That might actually be too big for this table.
Yeah. There's another leaf to this table,
There-
right?
Not that I own.
Okay. You
But we
can't
can
There
get
is
more.
space for another leaf.
Okay. All right.
I just don't have it. I have the other felt top,
Yes.
but I don't have the wood leaf.
Yeah.
Well, you can just open it and then just put the felt top there and just be like, don't put anything on
Don't
it.
put any weight on that. But
Well,
yeah,
the deluxe edition contains 4,900 counters, 192 pages of rules, and 22 campaigns.
I something about this makes me really want to play this. It starts in 1939, covers all aspects of the World War II. I don't know why they say of the World War II. Like
I don't know.
the World War II, not
Adrian, I
a
know
World
these
War
are
II.
I know these are hex spaces, but don't be confused. This isn't an 18XX that takes forever.
But it includes diplomacy, warfare, and production globally. And the designers also claim that it includes over 12 million hours of testing.
So it's not like the campaign of North Africa, where they're like, this seems broken, and then the designers are like, you just haven't played it enough, knowing full well it might be broken, but it's just we
No
couldn't-
one will play it enough to find out that
Exactly.
it's actually broken.
Exactly.
So it plays in 2 to 100 hours.
Yeah.
It's 120 to 6,000 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4,900 counters, 192 pages of rules.
Which we've all just said.
Yep.
I missed it. I'm sorry. Yeah, ridiculous. So, World in Flames, now the largest game commercially available in terms of sheer space it takes up.
Yes.
Next up on news.
Last up on news, Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth is getting a new adventure mode in its wonderful app.
Yep. So they are now adding the adventure mode, which is a new way to play.
I'm pretty sure it is easy mode in the game.
Yes.
Because as the only one here who's actually played at least a little bit of this, I know from experience that when you're playing the game, there's a lot of stuff you want to go check out, but how they calculate threat and the fact that like once threat reaches 100%, the campaign's over. There's a lot of times you're like, I want to see what that is, but if I do that, I'm not going to be able to finish this scenario. And it looks like from here that this one is really about, hey, we want to let you explore the world, so
Yes.
threat is not going to happen nearly as quickly. Now, when I say easy mode, I'm not trying to say like the combat or anything like that is easier. But
just threat's not going to build up as fast, so you have more time to explore.
Exactly.
Thus being exploration mode.
Yes.
You can explore every corner of Middle Earth.
Because the big thing that they say here is that threat will now only be generated from heroes and threat tokens.
Yep.
Whereas previously it was like every unsearched space.
Any space that you hadn't explored yet would add to your threat. So you wanted to go out very quickly and do that, and then any threat tokens came up, you want to try and fix those and all that stuff. So when we played at BGG Con, there were definitely a bunch of stuff that we just left unflipped because we're like, that doesn't sound important. We have to finish the story.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So if you wanted a more laid back way to check out all of Middle Earth in Journeys in Middle Earth, now you've got adventure mode to do that.
Indeed.
That wraps up all of our news items, so we can move on over to some Kickstarters.
First up in Kickstarter this week is Red Outpost. Very well funded, $75,000 of its $5,000 goal, over 2,100 backers, and just under 2 weeks left to pledge this one, with its deluxe edition being a mere $35.
Yeah. So Red Outpost is a 2 to 4 player worker placement game that takes 30 to 60 minutes, and it is set in a communist utopia on an alien planet. So it is a communist utopia board game. Essentially, the backstory here is that as the U.S. was landing on the moon and taking our first steps in 1969, that the Russians were already launching their interstellar spaceship full of colonists to another planet. It crash landed on a hospitable planet, which is now yours, the colonists. And
speaking of the Expanse,
right? And now you're trying to make this colony thrive. So in the game, each of you take on the role of different like local community leaders, and you're trying to basically gain enough influence that you can kind of take charge and become the leader of the colony. And the kind of interesting twist to this game is because this is a communist utopia, there is no private ownership of goods or workers or anything like that. So everybody uses all of the same, you share workers and resources throughout the game. So there's 6 different types of workers that kind of do their different things. So it's communist. You do what you're good at.
Shepherds, farmers, fishermen, bureaucrats, commissars, and miners.
Yep. And you're gathering different resources like coal, wool, fish, wheat. But down here, they've got this little turn sequence. So it plays out over 2 rounds, and each of the rounds, you are going to go through the same 5 phases. Basically, you go through a morning phase, and then the first half of the day, then a lunch phase, then the second half of the day, and then an evening phase. And during each phase, you move a single worker, then you place one of your influence discs on that worker's portrait, you adjust his mood, and then you perform the action that you moved him to. And so that's how you're going to, you can send the miner to go mine and get resources. And ultimately, you're going to score points and things based off of the mood of the various workers that you have influence over. So every time you make a worker go do something, you put your influence there. So maybe that worker's really unhappy. That miner is super unhappy, but you really kind of need him to mine. Is it worth getting your token on it to get the resource?
You should just tell him to suck it up, and I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, it's for the greater good, comrade.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not bad. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not good.
So you're going to earn victory points by keeping them productive and shipping goods out in time and keeping the workers that you influence happy. And then at the end of those 2 rounds, whoever has
basically
the most
2
points
days.
wins. Yeah.
Yep.
2 very abstracted days.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I like that you share resources
And workers. That seems really interesting. It'll be kind of cool to see wondering, or trying to plan what's Zach going to do? What resources is Zach about to make? And then how can I use those resources to earn points for myself?
Seems very capitalist of you.
That's what the commissar's for, because then he shoots you.
But yeah.
Shipping seems okay, $6. So you get a 30,
not bad.
So $41, fingers crossed, total.
Mm-hmm.
$6 to $18 for worldwide. $14 for even European shipping, though, which is kind of rough. But
Yeah.
apparently it's going to be in like 7 languages.
Yeah, it's a Russian developed and produced game, and yeah, they're putting it out in a bunch of different languages.
Yeah. German, Spanish, French, Italian, Japanese, and Polish.
There you go. Yeah, shipping's not too bad.
They only have a Russian language PDF rulebook right now.
Currently,
so-
yeah.
But it exists.
Indeed. Some of the upgrades and stuff like the deluxe edition and then some of the stretch goals they have lined up also look pretty interesting if this really takes off.
Yeah, and it's only a $5 difference between the regular
I
and
see
the
no
deluxe.
reason not to just do the deluxe.
It's, shaped meeples, the UV spot that everyone loves.
Yeah, I've never really given a shit about UV spots, but
Looks great on Mechs versus Minions.
yeah, you're right, it does. But yeah. So yeah, that's Red Outpost. Go check it out. I might jump on this one. It's cheap enough, and I think I could spare $35 pre-Japan trip. So I don't know. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Next up in Kickstarters.
Next up in Kickstarter is Fantasy World Creator Dungeon and Town 3D modular system. Very well funded, $80,000 of its $14,000 goal, 751 backers, but just about 4 days left on this one, with its most popular pledge being about $62. So this is some D&D terrain that everyone loves.
Yeah. So RPG terrain stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, they've got all kinds of different stuff. So like you can see here as I'm scrolling through, if you're on the stream, like you can build these like huge intricate towns and stuff. Like one of the boxes is Dungeon and Town, and it's got like little buildings for the town and then like a huge sprawling labyrinth of a dungeon.
I mean, it's all based on like walls with little corner pieces that connect to the walls. So it's all modular and it's all,
very, very adaptable.
Yeah.
Apparently they'll have like curved walls.
Oh my God. What? You can curve walls?
Apparently.
That doesn't sound
I mean,
right.
they make a big deal about it being for the first time in a pen and paper 3D system, rewritable curved walls.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they're I think the idea is like they're faintly scored on the backside so that you can curve them to whatever curve you want. And that's what they're kind of demonstrating in the little picture there, is that it can be flat or it can be slightly curved or it can be like super curved.
It seems like this system has a lot more angles to it, where a lot are just very square.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they can only be orthogonal to anything. Where this, you can make some angles and alleyways, and it has like a bunch of standee monsters and NPCs and stuff like that in here.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not seeing, and I was trying to figure out what the material is.
It's walls. It's wall
made of
material.
wall.
Yeah.
What do you think a wall's made out of?
Because they say like each element is rewritable, and I don't know for sure what they mean by that either.
Well, so this says that each Dungeon and Town cardboard item has a double plastic lamination. So it looks like it's cardboard with laminate on top.
Okay, so you
So
can
then
maybe
you
like
could-
rewrite with like
yeah.
a dry erase or something.
Yeah.
on it.
Which is why
Okay.
these are reasonably priced.
Yeah.
And then like the connection pieces have rounded edges so it shouldn't damage it when it's going in and out.
Okay.
And the stands themselves are 3D textured as well. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Affordable, some would say.
That is definitely one of the top things for me, is that the most expensive pledge they have up right now is what, like €200? It's not that bad.
$223.
Yeah. That's the Dungeon in Town, the character set, the Fantasy World Creator core box, the treasure pack, and the Master's Black Book. Which I don't know what some of that other stuff is. I haven't quite gotten down there. Oh, it's just a shit ton more tiles and stuff.
That
Yes.
sounds right.
Tokens, like trap tokens, equipment sheets, encounter sheets, things like that. Okay.
I mean, just the Dungeon and Town box, which is just that $62 pledge, you get a fair amount of stuff in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I might have to jump on this.
So are you jumping out of of Red Outpost or whatever it's called?
Well, I'll have to do some research, because I definitely, if I'm going to get in on this, I'm going to get in on it in a big way. Which I don't have that kind of money pre-Japan.
Right.
So I'll have to do some research and see what the plan is for the pledge manager. Yeah, $2. Christmas high five. Thanks for your support. This pledge still allows you to enter the pledge manager at the end of the campaign.
There you go.
So that's what I'm going to do. And then hopefully the pledge manager is something that I can still access and alter in like
As soon as this is finished, it
February.
immediately comes up and it's like, you have 20 minutes, go.
Oh no. Oh no.
Thanks for the $2, sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. That's Fantasy World Creator Dungeon and Town 3D modular system over on Kickstarter. So go check it out.
Last up on Kickstarter, we have laser dice.
But not the good kind of laser dice.
Not sure what good kind of laser dice are.
I don't know.
You obviously don't have a great imagination.
Sure.
You just roll dice and lasers.
It seems dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes it good.
Yeah. It is very well funded. $3,400 of its $1,000 goal. 71 backers. Still 3 weeks left to go on this one. Its most popular pledge being $30 for
What does that get
6 laser dice.
These are laser etched wooden dice.
These are laser etched wooden dice.
Exotic hardwood dice.
Yes, in Celtic and dragon themes.
For your board games.
My board games?
Your board games.
Okay.
So it seems more than it's just like etching. It seems like some of these are like actually carved out in them.
Yeah, so
There's some texture to them.
yeah, so this was a previous Kickstarter that was very successful. Just straight up laser dice, but not the good kind,
Yeah,
apparently.
exactly.
And it was incredibly popular, and people wanted a lot more of it. So for Christmas, they're bringing it back.
They have
shortly.
a Tron one, a Suit one. I'm assuming those are the older ones, and the Celtic and Dragon ones are just the new
Correct.
2 new versions of
Yep.
it. Okay.
But yeah, so they're really kind of sweet laser etched D6s.
Yeah.
That's the biggest downside is it looks like they're all D6s. That was one of my problems with the Mistborn dice set as well. So I want all the dice, not just D6s. But man, these are also really sweet. I'd be concerned about balance though with wooden dice. I don't know. I wish Wes was in chat so I could ask Wes about like if he has any wooden dice and what his experience with wooden dice and their balance is. Especially the way they're like laser etching these complex designs into them and stuff.
I can tell you they float in water. So
I don't believe you. I've never heard of wood floating in water unless it was a witch
Or very small rocks.
or very small rocks.
Yeah, they're neat.
Yeah, they also are like really. I mean, like some of them, I guess, kind of work for being able to tell what the dice are. Like they actually look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
uh-huh.
Other ones just look like, holy hell, what is this?
Well, some of them are just straight up symbols. Like,
Yeah,
here are different symbols. Make them be whatever you want.
do with what you will. Like
Yeah.
the suit dice that has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it has different suits on it. Like
Yeah.
the 1 is a spade, the 3 is a club, a spade, and a heart.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
those. But that's clearly like you can tell what the D6 is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the Tron is a little bit harder just because it's the circles, but there's lines.
It still has the pips on
yes,
there.
yeah.
But the symbol one, it's just
Or skull.
buh.
The skull one is very much a
the dragon one also seems like
it's
just symbols.
eye based. It looks like
I
think,
The dragon I think is
Yeah.
head based.
The skull is skull eye based.
which is a
1,
yeah,
2. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Whoa. Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then there's the dragon numbers font, and then there's the dragons, and I think it's how many
Dragons.
dragon heads
Yeah.
are there.
The Celtic is like how many ends of the knot there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Vaguely, you can kind of tell. I guess the symbol one is also there's clearly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, not clearly, but there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think
Probably.
sure.
5, 6.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Some cool, sweet laser etched dice
In fancy woods.
In fancy woods. The wood does look really nice.
And they have some like dice boxes you can
Yeah.
get with
Yep.
these that seem cool.
Always down for good die box. They also have down here at the bottom, multicolor dice in anodized metal. I don't know.
I thought we were done talking about Mistborn.
I know, right? So yeah, dice and dungeon walls and one board game in this week's Kickstarter section.
Yep.
So
Sounds right.
Dragon and Celtic Laser Dice was that last one, which wraps up all of our news and Kickstarters. So we can move on to some listener feedback. Unfortunately, much to Jeff's chagrin, no emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com
He's broken up inside. I know you can't see it, but he's dying.
if they're watching the live stream.
Even then, I don't think you can see it. I'm looking at you, and I don't see the pain, but I know it's there.
We all know it's there.
Indeed. Also, nothing over on BGG or Twitter or anything like that. However, we've heard from Paulo. It had been a little while, and this is on an older episode. He must have fallen behind. But from episode 168, Weaponized Shower Water, Paulo comments, "Hey, I'm free and I contribute both ways for you guys, be it on YouTube or on the BGG Guild," which is true. I don't remember what we were talking about 4 weeks ago. So that has, I've lost all context.
I think that was the one about he was messaging on BGG, and I was like, aha, he's finally left your side, Adrian, and gone to mine, or something like that. And so.
Oh, so he's free as in neither one of us have hold over him.
Yes.
Thought he meant like I'm free as in like you don't have to pay me, and I was like, well,
that's
obviously,
all. No, that also I think that was
that
part
is
of it.
Also
too.
true. Yeah. So that's it.
Yep.
That's listener feedback.
Yep.
No more listener feedback tonight. If you would like to get a hold of us and leave us some listener feedback, there are multiple ways for you to do so. You can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can also find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
Our Facebook and Instagram are both now /MHGameGuys.
At MHGameGuys.
Yeah. You can also go like Instagram.com/MHGameGuys.
Yeah, but if you want to add us in anything, it has to be an at MHGameGuys.
Yes, if you're
a user of Instagram.
If you're one of those people.
Yeah, those millions and millions of people.
Sure.
And Instagram is very active. It has all of my PAX Unplugged pictures in there.
Yeah. Jeff's taken over the Instagram and is actually making it a thing.
I got so many fucking likes. So many likes.
We are streaming over on Twitch every Sunday. The recording for the Wednesday episodes that you're listening to right now, we stream those over on twitch.tv/MHGameGuys on Sunday nights. On Fridays, we do live streams of board games, and every other Tuesday is MHDD.
Are you guys doing one this week?
And we will be doing one yesterday when you're listening to this. So doesn't do a lot of good there.
Perfect.
But it will still be up on Twitch if you want to watch it after the fact. It will be part 2 of our Kids on Bikes adventure.
Okay.
We're wrapping up Kids on Bikes. The Kids on Bikes turned out to be a lot of fun, and it went from being a 1-shot into a 2-shot.
Are you the...
I am running it,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Tap.
Are the kids still on bikes right now?
The kids are not currently on bikes.
Well, I feel lied to.
They were on bikes.
But they're not right now.
They are not currently on bikes. The game featured kids on bikes. There were kids on bikes.
Nope, I don't. I'm confused now. Now this is just kids. And
I had to explain when I was like pitching the game to them. I was like, like kids on bikes, like that whole genre, like Stranger Things and like Stand By Me and E.T., things like that. And they were like, wait, Stand By Me? The one where they like go find a dead body? Like that counts? It's like, yeah, it totally counts.
It's also a Stephen King.
It is also Stephen King. They're like, they weren't on bikes. It's like, well, they took bikes to the train tracks. Like kids on bike stories don't have to have the kids always on bikes.
Well, they decided to shorten the title too. Stand by me as I ride my bike with these other kids.
Correct.
Yeah.
So no, they are currently just entering a secret government lab underneath the abandoned mall.
It seems like a bad idea.
That seems like season 3 of Stranger Things.
I mean, what's the saying? Good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a great artist.
Highly debatable.
No.
It's a very, very, very different lab, though.
Press X to doubt.
It is a very different lab. This one's abandoned. It's not full of Russians. Spoilers for Stranger Things season 3.
Commies, whatever.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that.
Gotcha.
And then
did we figure out what we're playing on Friday?
Yes.
Yes, we did. On Friday, we actually are ahead of the game.
So you're saying we're better than 30 minutes before the last stream when we figured out what we were playing?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
We went with what we had planned on.
Yes.
It's just we had other ideas, and then finalize the first idea 30
True.
minutes beforehand.
Yeah.
True. But this time we're going to be able to actually announce it on the Wednesday episode that on Friday we will be streaming a Feast for Odin with the expansion. Norwegians.
The Norwegians.
And the
Some Norwegians.
Christmas promos that Zach got Jeff
Yeah, the BGG,
at BGG.
promos.
So, yeah.
The game has completely changed with those promos.
Yeah, it's different shapes.
Yeah,
You know,
different shapes.
Maybe.
Additional shapes, not different. Like they're different, but
Yeah. I'm going to fucking raid and get that fucking Christmas tree. Bring it back to my village. I'm going to be so fucking happy.
yep.
Indeed. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that on Friday. It'll be good times. That pretty much wraps everything up, I believe. Check out our website. I got way lost again on contact information, but go to our website, milehighgameguys.com, for links to the show notes that include links to things like the Slack channel and the BGG Guild number 2731, and all of that fun, fancy stuff. So, thanks everybody for listening. As always, we would like to thank our sponsors, Greyfox Games. Their latest game in their
Social. I was gonna say slow sloth, but that
social sloth line, their lighter line. Draw your own conclusions. The cooperative doodling game.
cooperative telestrations.
Yeah. Is available now. It's plays 3 to 8 players, 15 to 20 minutes. And yeah, you're trying to just cooperatively draw pictures to get the one person on your team, the guesser, to correctly guess what image you're drawing for them, with everybody drawing different shapes.
Yep.
So, and spending as few clues as possible. They've got clues in it. You can go order that right now for $24.99 over on Greyfox's website, greyfoxgames.com. So go check it out. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement for everyone?
Yes. Greyfox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, who's afraid of a little thunder? Suddenly gets struck by a lightning bolt, lighting him on fire, killing him instantly.
Well, it's not the thunder; it was the lightning.
Thunder and the lightning. That's what that song says, right? I don't know.
Which song, Adrian? Which song are you talking about?
Mhm.
The song
Can you sing
Thunder
all of
and
it?
Lightning by Imagine Dragons?
You probably would pretend to. Oh man, that was in a Rick and Morty episode recently. Because there was a dragon in there, and it was about like people pretending they're not Christian by listening to them or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a real deep Imagine Dragons cut.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like fake Christian rock or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is that actually an Imagine Dragons that sings that song?
I don't know.
Wow.
You tell me.
Yeah.
I feel like it is. Anyhow, that wraps everything up. As always, I have been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Schnapps Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.